Every journey begins with a choice. For some, that choice leads to success, while for others, it spirals into tragedy. This is the story of Caroline, a young African woman blessed with wealth, love, and endless possibilities. But beneath the surface of her seemingly perfect life, dark influences awaited her at the university. With every wrong step, Caroline drifted further from the path her parents had lovingly paved for her. What should have been the story of a promising future instead became a cautionary tale of how quickly life can unravel when we allow temptation to lead us astray. This is not just Caroline's story, it's a warning for anyone tempted by shortcuts, false friendships, and the lure of power. Her fall began with one decision. Caroline, a bright and beautiful Igbo girl, was the pride of her family. As the only child of two successful doctors, she was showered with love, wealth, and the best opportunities in life. Her parents, who owned a reputable hospital and chains of pharmacies, raised her with the hope that one day she would follow in their footsteps. From an early age, Caroline was given everything she needed: designer clothes, the latest gadgets, and private tutors. Her parents' plan was simple: provide her with the best and watch her blossom into the brilliant doctor she was destined to be. In her second year of university, Caroline found herself drawn to a new friend named Deborah. Unlike the studious friends she was used to, Deborah was bold, carefree, and full of excitement. She spoke of secret meetings, exclusive parties, and the power that came with being part of an elite female group. It was a lifestyle that intrigued Caroline. Deborah saw the curiosity in Caroline's eyes and wasted no time in introducing her to the female cult. The initiation was thrilling, an adrenaline rush she had never experienced. The sense of belonging and the promises of protection made Caroline feel invincible. After joining the cult, Caroline's life took a drastic turn. Once a focused and disciplined student, she started missing lectures and staying out late at night. The thrill of parties, alcohol, and the rebellious lifestyle pulled her in deeper. She started drinking heavily, smoking, and engaging in reckless behavior. What began as an occasional indulgence quickly became a routine. Caroline's once neat and modest appearance transformed into something wild. She wore revealing clothes, heavy makeup, and carried an attitude that screamed defiance. The promising young girl everyone knew was fading away. The more Caroline indulged in the cult lifestyle, the more her academics suffered. Once a top-performing student, she began to fall behind. She skipped lectures and missed assignments, and when exams came around, she resorted to cheating. The cult provided her with leaked exam papers and threats to intimidate lecturers into passing her. The girl who once studied late into the night was now barely scraping by, relying on deceit rather than hard work. Her former classmates watched in disbelief as Caroline, who once inspired them, became unrecognizable, now the source of fear and trouble. Caroline's behavior didn't go unnoticed. Her worried parents confronted her several times, pleading with her to change her ways. They reminded her of the dreams they had for her, but their words fell on deaf ears. Caroline would roll her eyes and brush off their advice, convinced she was in control of her life. Even her closest friends tried to warn her, telling her she was on a destructive path. But Caroline, now full of arrogance, shut everyone out. She believed she was untouchable, backed by the cult's influence and power. The more Caroline rebelled, the more reckless she became. Her involvement with the cult took her into darker territories: casual relationships, unprotected sex, and constant partying. She became indifferent to the risks, having multiple abortions and neglecting her health. The high she got from living on the edge pushed her further away from reality. No longer interested in her studies or future, Caroline embraced a life of carelessness. The fear of consequences disappeared, replaced by a constant need to feel in control, even as she spiraled out of it. One day, after feeling unwell for weeks, Caroline visited a clinic for a checkup. The results shattered her world. She had contracted HIV/AIDS. The gravity of the situation hit her like a brick. In the silence of that sterile hospital room, Caroline's mind raced with regret and anger. Instead of seeking help, she became even more destructive. Her rage and frustration drove her to lash out at everyone, her friends, lecturers, and even her parents. The disease that took hold of her body mirrored the chaos that had already consumed her life. Consumed by anger and with nothing left to lose, Caroline took part in a dangerous plan with her cult members, a robbery. They wanted quick cash and the thrill of danger, but the night would not end as they expected. The robbery went wrong, and in the chaos that followed, the police were alerted. Sirens blared, and panic set in. As they tried to escape, shots were fired. In the midst of it all, Caroline was hit. The girl who once had everything, the love of her family, wealth, and a promising future, lay lifeless on the cold asphalt. When the news reached Caroline's parents, their world crumbled. They had invested everything in her, showering her with love, wealth, and opportunities. But now, all that was left was heartbreak and a void that could never be filled. The couple, who once had grand plans for their only child, were left in silence and grief, their home echoing with memories of what could have been. The riches they had built meant nothing anymore. In their eyes, they had lost everything. Caroline's story is not just a tale of a young girl's fall, it's a cautionary lesson. It highlights how negative influences and poor decisions can turn a bright future into a dark tragedy.